11 Shaolin pressure points ancient monks used to drop any attacker. For 1500 years, the monks of the Shaolin temple kept a map. Not a map of land, but a map of the human body, and the exact spots where a single precise touch could take a fully grown man off his feet. The famous points everyone knows: the throat, the temple, the solar plexus, but those were never the points the old masters guarded. They guarded the ones nobody talks about, the ones hidden in plain sight on parts of the body you would never think to protect. By the end of this video, you'll know all 11, and number 1 was considered so reliable that monks were forbidden from demonstrating it on a living person. Let's begin. Number 11, the jaw hinge. Not the chin, not the jaw itself. The small hollow just below your ear, where the lower jaw connects to the skull. Run your finger there and you'll feel a soft notch. Underneath it sits a dense cluster of nerves feeding the entire lower face. The Shaolin understood that a sharp inward press here doesn't just cause pain, it disrupts balance, because the same region sits inches from the structures that control your sense of orientation. A man struck here often stumbles sideways before he even registers what happened. It was the monk's way of ending a confrontation without a single closed fist. Number 10, the radial line. Along the top of the forearm, running from the elbow toward the thumb, lies a nerve pathway the old texts simply called the surrender line. Strike a man cleanly across this line while his arm is extended and the hand opens on its own. He doesn't decide to drop what he's holding. His body decides for him. Monks use this not to injure, but to disarm. A staff, a blade, a grabbing hand. One strike to the surrender line and the weapon falls to the ground while the attacker stands there confused, staring at fingers that no longer obey. Number 9, the floating ribs. Most people protect the chest and forget that the 2 lowest ribs on each side connect to nothing at the front. They float. There's no breastbone shielding them. Behind them sit the body's most sensitive organs. The Shaolin taught a rising palm strike angled just beneath these ribs, and the effect was immediate. The diaphragm spasms, the breath vanishes, and a man who was charging forward a second ago is suddenly folded over, unable to pull in air. It buys the exact 3 seconds a monk needed to walk away. Number 8, the wind mansion. At the very base of the skull where the neck meets the head, there is a small depression the old masters called Feng Fu, the palace of wind. It's one of the most guarded regions in traditional medicine because everything the brain sends to the body passes through the corridor just beneath it. A firm, controlled press here was used by monks to force an aggressor's head to tilt and his whole posture to collapse backward. Control the head, the old saying went, and the body has no choice but to follow. Number 7, the inner elbow crease. Turn your arm over and look at the soft fold of the elbow. Running right through the center is the median nerve, sitting close to the surface with almost no protection. A sharp strike or dig into this crease sends a bolt straight down into the hand and up into the shoulder. The arm goes weak and heavy in the same instant. Monks use this against a grabbing opponent. The moment a hand closed around their robe, a single strike to the inner crease turned that gripping arm into dead weight. Number 6, the perineal point. On the outside of the thigh, a hand's width above the knee, lies a nerve that controls the entire lower leg. Fighters call the strike here a dead leg, and anyone who's taken one knows the feeling. The leg simply stops responding. The Shaolin refined this into a precise knee or shin strike to that exact spot. A man cannot chase you, cannot stand his ground, cannot even keep his balance when one leg goes silent beneath him. No lasting damage, just a fight that's suddenly over. Number 5, the collarbone shelf. The collarbone is one of the most exposed bones in the entire body, sitting right at the surface with a delicate nerve bundle running underneath toward the arm. The monks didn't aim to break it. They pressed downward into the hollow just behind it, where the nerves to the whole arm gather like wires in a junction box. Pressure here floods the shoulder and arm with a deep, disabling ache, dropping the guard on that entire side of the body. It was the setup, the move that opened the door for everything else. Number 4, the mastoid. Behind the ear, you can feel a hard ridge of bone. Just below and behind it lies a pressure region tied directly to the nerves governing the head and neck. The old masters used a knuckle press here to force compliance without a single strike. Steady, increasing pressure that made even the most determined attacker's knees soften. It was the point monks used when they needed to control a man rather than harm him. Firm, quiet, and impossible to ignore. Number 3. The inner wrist gate. On the underside of the wrist between the two tendons you can see when you clench your fist, sits a gateway of nerves the Shaolin called the gate of the hand. A precise strike or a twisting press here doesn't just hurt, it travels. The sensation shoots up the forearm and loosens the entire grip. This was the monk's answer to being seized. The instant an attacker grabbed a wrist, the monk would turn into it, striking the gate, and the hand that held him would open like it had been unlocked. Number 2. The lower rib junction. Where the rib cage meets in a soft point at the bottom of the breastbone, there's a small hollow you can press with a fingertip. Beneath it lies a knot of nerves connected to the body's core rhythm. The Shaolin taught a short, driving strike into this hollow. Not a wide swing, but a compact thrust with the knuckle or fingertips. The result was a sudden loss of wind and a wave of nausea that dropped a man to his knees. It was close range, silent, and required almost no force, which is exactly why the monks trusted it. And number 1, the point the old masters would not demonstrate on a living person. The side of the neck, but not the front, where everyone expects a strike. The angle just below and behind the jaw, where the largest nerves and vessels of the neck run close together beneath thin skin. The Shaolin called this region the keystone, because everything above it depended on it. A controlled strike here was said to end a confrontation in a single movement. It was so effective and so easy to overdo that monks were taught only to identify it, never to strike it in practice. They learned exactly where it was so they would know, above all else, how to protect it on themselves. 11 points. 11 places the human body was never built to defend. The monks who mapped them didn't do it to hurt people. They did it to end fights before they started, and to walk away without throwing a single real punch. That was the whole philosophy of the temple. The greatest fighters were the ones who never had to fight. So here's my question for you. Which of these 11 surprised you the most? Was it the surrender line, the dead leg, or the keystone at number 1? Tell me in the comments. And if you want the full breakdown of every point mapped out in detail, the free notes are linked below. Train your mind, protect your body, and remember, real mastery was never about causing harm. It was about never needing to.